Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Marcus Bookstore, and today is Sunday, and we're going to have a book signing shortly, but we have a guest that we'd like to have you meet. Would you like to introduce yourself, young lady?
Sure. I am Opal Pomeradisa, originally from the Caribbean. I've been in the Bay Area for 30 years. I'm a poet and a novelist. My new novel, Painting Away Regrets, will be out in November. And my last poetry collection, I Name Me Name, is, I guess, 3 years old. And before that, there were several other things. So, how else should I introduce myself? I'm a teacher as well as a writer. I'm a mother and a traveler, and I love life.
How long have you been in San Francisco?
I've been in San Francisco for almost 30 years.
Fantastic. And when you say you're from the Caribbean, where in the Caribbean?
I'm from Jamaica, and I'm very Jamaican, but not in this, I'm like Houston Bolt. No. Jamaica is celebrating its 50th year next year, and that's important to me. And my Jamaican heritage is important to me, and much of my work, certainly my prose work, my short stories, and my novels are always set in Jamaica. My poetry spanned the gamut, African American, the African diaspora experience, what's happening to us as a people, the whole sense of identity, and the importance of culture, and knowing and naming ourselves, and knowing and claiming our own space, and preserving who and what we are, and disabandoning with shame, and just stepping up and loving who we are in our brilliant, diverse self, and understand that these lines of demarcation, whether Caribbean, African American, South American, are just really senseless categories that do not help to unite us, and that it really behooves us to get rid of those things that do not help us to get forward, and to see how we here in outside of the continent in the diaspora, what we can and need to do to help Africa stand strong, because despite the 60s and the 70s, and we thought that the movement was going to make it better for us, and in some ways it has, but what I'm finding in the younger generation is that sense of pride and feeling loved as black people of various shades and that does not exist, and that to me is very disheartening, because I thought, we're taking care of that. I didn't think we were going to be having quarrels about whether our hair was straight or locks or stuff like that. I didn't think we were going to be having any issues over dark skin and light skin and stupidness like good hair and bad hair, but we are. And so, we have to stop pointing the finger and look at us and look at what we have internalized and work to eradicate that so that we can move forward, because if we don't, we are going to be spinning around like a dog trying to catch its tail. And the hour is at hand. We are, I think, in some ways, in some communities, more disorganized and less unified than we were 30 years ago. I think there are some young people, young African American, black, Caribbean people who are very much conscious and working to build bridges. But I believe when I look around and I see our communities, I believe there's a great deal of sickness and pain. And that sickness and pain has to be addressed so that we can move forward. And I would like to think my work is about healing. Not in any kind of direct didactic way, but that what I'm really exploring is who we are and what pains have we suffered, and how do we take that pain and mold it so it becomes a lump in our body. And my goal is, how can we just say this is a pain and let's massage it away? What is it that we need to do so that we don't kick it around? And I think we kick it around and we kick it at each other and we toss it in each other's face, and we use it to fight and to shoot and to kill each other, and we need to just wrestle with it. This is the pain of being brought here. This is the pain of us feeling bad about ourselves because it was projected on us. These are the untruths that we have swallowed. Let us regurgitate them, and let us just find who we are and appreciate and love who we are and work together so that we have a base, both an economic and a spiritual and a cultural base. I think that's desperately needed.
Thank you. I would like to add that I have had the privilege of visiting your country. And believe it or not, when I got to Jamaica, I was afraid to come out of my hotel room because I had never seen so many black people. There were black people all over the place. I mean, all the police and the shop makers, and I was wondering where the white folks were. So it kind of scared me. But what is the situation there now? I know the British colonialized the country and they took over and they ran it. Is there independence now, or?
Yeah, Jamaica has been independent for next year is going to be over 50 years.
Mhm.
And there's still a lot of black people. So for me coming to this country, it was quite a reverse. I was like, my God, where are all these white people? And so I've never been afraid of black people, thank God.
Good, good.
And the situation financially, economically is very bad in Jamaica. And in the last 20, 30 years, a lot of drugs and guns have been brought in. So there are many elements of violence, which is very frightening. But there are still wonderful pockets of great culture and unity and love. And, you know, maybe we're independent, but there's something called neocolonialism, and that's definitely strangling us and have strangled our economy. And when people are pushed against the wall and a boot is on their foot, then they react rather, not necessarily in the most logical or meaningful way. And I think right now Jamaica is going through some violent reacting to both economic and cultural imposition under the whole guise of the IMF and neocolonialism. But there is still a part of that culture that is deeply spiritual and deeply humane. And I'm hoping that that part of that culture will again emerge and will have a positive impact, that reggae and the Rastafarians and now Jamaica's athletic team, this Houston Bolt and all of these other guys who are just breaking all of these records, that kind of positive aspect of who and what Jamaica is will filtrate throughout the entire country, and that will be how we are known rather than for the violence and the killing.
Are those the people that run the Jamaican sled team?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay. Yeah, I heard about them. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I wanted to add to that. While I was there, I had the opportunity to drive across country, which I was kind of skeptical at first about doing, but you guys drive on the wrong side of the road and the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car, but I managed to get through it. The people.
Well, it's not that we drive on the wrong side of the road, it's that you have been driving all your life on the wrong side of the road. It's a good thing you came there so
Okay.
you know that.
Okay, I'll go with that. But I want to say that the people were absolutely fantastic, and I met some young people that were interested in what was going on in the United States. And back at that time, we had the Black Panther Party, and they wanted to know what that movement was all about, and I had a chance to relate to them. Now, are you working on any projects presently?
I'm always working on projects presently. I just finished this other novel, which will be out in November, and I'm working